All right, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai. The headlines here on RT News. One of my best news sources. You know, not the greatest, but one of the best. These two headlines were actually here. Said police say dozens arrested, 10 officers injured at the police operation, aka Kill the Bill protest. And if you don't know what's going on with the Kill the Bill, people are sick and tired in London. And that's one of the main things that's going on in London, England. This whole lockdown situation that's taking place over there. The people are tired of the restriction, and you had this guy Boris Johnson who has said even if you did have the venom, that you cannot be with other people that had the venom, and to take your mask down. So people are looking at it as like, wait a minute. So if I have it, if I did what you say, I still won't have the rights, and they're finally realizing it. And one of the main things about what makes America so uniquely different, America is just built on violence in itself. So the Lord, the Most High created everything. He put in play that in America there was going to be two things that was going to be held the highest. And within those two things that was going to be held the highest is going to be the hardest thing. And this is the legacy of America. Now, what I'm talking about may not make sense right now, but check this out. So in London, England, the officers don't carry guns. Matter of fact, firearms is not really, it's not really shown like that. It's not really put out there like that. And most European nations as well. You know what? I'm gonna do the other show another time with this other thing, the details of people's information, which also hits another point as well. But going back on what I'm saying, so when you have all these European nations, who pretty much the law offices and so forth are not armed, and the people themselves are not armed, it's easier to implement any sort of George Orwell type situation. And the people, yes, they're gonna buck up, which this is what they're doing. They bucking up right here. Okay, this happened. It was this morning or maybe yesterday they was doing this protesting of this whole entire this bill that's about to be passed. And they can't fight for anything, so they have people power, but they don't have weapons to defend themselves. Now, America, on the other hand, matter of fact, let me just go to the scripture real quick. Good old America, on the other hand, okay, is built upon bloodshed. Nahum 3:1 says, "Woe to the bloody city, is all full of lies and robbery, and the prey departeth night." So the foundation of America is bloody from the violence that was enacted in America. Okay? The violence that has been displayed in America. So the violence that has been displayed in America is because of the arms, the gift. Matter of fact, let me get to this one real quick. Revelation 6:4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth." And the act of taking peace is war. All right? So he's taking peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And that's the blessing of Esau. Let's go to this real quick. Genesis 27 to Genesis 3 and 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above, and by thy sword shall thy live. And that's talking about Esau, Edom, the whole entire race. All right, the whole entire nation. By the sword they shall live. But in time past, these other European, these other European nations, or these other Edomite nations, so has disarmed the citizens. All right, they have disarmed their citizens. So, in other words, there was no need for them to have any weapons, and we all know what happens when you have no weapon to defend yourself. We'll get this one real quick. Luke 11:22. It says, 21. When a strong man armed, let's look up the word armed, furnished with arms. It says equipped full of armory, weapons. All right. So when a full man is in display, when a strong man has his weapons, when a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. So part of the laws that was given, that the founding fathers had applied to, was the love of their weapons, the love of arming themselves, which entailed would be a problem for future tyranny, so to speak, because they could take it out themselves. It says, but when a stronger than he shall come upon him and overcome him, he taketh from him all his armory, wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils. So when somebody else is stronger comes along, he can take the one that is armed his spoils. So the Lord allowed this land to have the ability to arm themselves. Like I said, the two greatest laws right now in the land of America are the right to bear arms and free speech. And guess what's more deadlier? Free speech. So this is what the Lord allowed Esau to establish in this land. And this is the only thing that's keeping the New World Order to fully display in this land, because they're going to receive a lot of resistance. Unlike these places, unlike this place, which they're trying to fight back, but they won't be able to arm themselves when that time comes. Okay? So America is known for its act of violence and keeping up the violence. That's why it's so hard for the elites to really get to this place. These other places was easy to fold because they didn't have no resistance. They were more enlightened, so to speak. They knew more, and they was able to broadcast certain things. But yet in turn, look what's happening. They have to protest for their rights. Okay, so that they can reverse the lockdowns. Okay? I'm not going to read this whole chapter. Let me see if there's... It says, kill the bill. Londoners march against proposal law that would give police more powers to crack down on public protests. So they're fighting to have their rights, that the freedom that they have won't be taken from them. Okay? But here in the land where they're supposed to be free, their freedom taken right in front of them, right before their eyes, and they're not even given a fight. But the only difference is that over here they can give a fight. Are they gonna give a fight? No. But it's gonna be bloody. This whole situation is gonna lead to a bloody, violent end. You know, I'm getting at. Matter of fact, before I get there, get this real quick. An Apocrypha. Real quick, Matter of fact, it's two of them. Second Ezra 15. This is the one I was looking for, but I believe. Matter of fact, Second Ezra, no, yeah, Second Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So that's how you know it's talking about America. All right, this is exactly how you know it's talking about America. It's because the American people, the average people, the average American citizen, Slakia, has some type of form of weaponry. It may be a gun, it may be a knife or something. But while the average other European Edomites don't really have much. You got to be a gangster or something. They have weapons, but it's not a thing of enormity. This is the only land that you will know of that the police officers have the right to shoot down the people. All right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. The course of their action shall stand in their power. And a man should desire to go into a city, and should not be able. For because of the pride of the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So the blessing of this man has really got into the minds of the people, which it was written in law by, going back to it, the founding fathers, to right to bear arms. So that is gonna fire. I mean, that's gonna. That's gonna mess this man's up. Hit this man up. Thus, this land was created by violence, and by violence it shall go. Okay. By violence, this filthy land of America is gonna go, because that's the only thing. Hey, the scripture says you reap what you sow. Okay, so why you think this place is so violently, in an upward spiral the way it is, from the movies to everything that people do is all tending in a violent manner. Like, I'm not saying these other Edomite countries, they're not violent. They are absolutely violent. But to the extent of how Americans are, no, there's a reason why the Lord allowed this to happen. Second Ezra 9, I believe it's 2, but matter of fact, second 9, yeah, I went to the point. And 93 says, therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And that's why you've seen a lot of uproars popping out of everywhere. The Lord is setting the movie just right. This is where everybody loses it, because everybody's about to their rights, the human rights is taken away from them. Okay, so the people are uproaring everywhere. And I'm gonna end it off on this. I'm gonna make this short. Revelations 18, I believe, is around 19, maybe. No, I'm sorry, 21 to the point. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And then look up the word violence. Harmonium, a rush, impulse, that which is implied or hurried away by impulse. An attack that is abstract, precipitous violence. So a land that promotes violence is going to lead and be destroyed by violence. Matter of fact, is one more. Psalms 11. believe it's 6. Yeah, I'll start off. Yeah, Psalms 11 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. So Esau is condemned by his own actions, man. And the word violence in the Hebrew is kamas, injustice. Yep, kamas, violence, wrong, cruelty, injustice. Violence by implication, by wrong, meditative, unjust gain, cruelty, damage, false, injustice, oppression, unrighteous, violence against and done, violent, dealing, wrong. So that's why America is going to be destroyed, man. It upholds that, and this is why the Lord allowed them to pass those laws, because that's the same thing, which is a blessing. You have to defend yourself, but it's the ultimate curse. Because why? What did the Lord say? He that lived by the sword shall die by the sword. All right. So they're gonna die on the sword. And everything that this man has accomplished, he's raped, robbed, and spoiled, and took it by force. So the Lord's gonna rape, rob, and spoil him by force. All right. It was all the Lord set them up nice and lovely. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.